Hello, everybody. Megan here, the Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior. I hope you're all doing well. Today is Saturday, I think it's, what is it, the 4th of February, after 3. And I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I have come back home, and I was so excited. I had to share this. Today, I have set a new personal record, personal best for distance walked. I have walked a grand total of 6.17 miles today. Now, of that 6.17 miles, 3.73 miles were continuous, and that was from this morning. I did the usual 1.75 mile walk with my dogs, dropped them off at the house, walked into town to do the weekly grocery shop. I have a little cart trolley, if you will, that I take. So I did that and then took the long scenic route around kind of the outer circle of Colchester Town Center, took the scenic way home, and that was 3.73 miles, which is the longest I've walked continuously without any stopping. And then I did the rest of that walk just now. Now I have to say that walking from my house down the hill to Starbucks, okay, so that was sorry, I should say I took the dogs for their afternoon walk, which is again 1.73 miles. Brought them back to the house, dropped them off, and then literally after I dropped them, I headed out and walked down the hill to Starbucks. I did stop and sit for about 20 minutes and then walked back home. But the grand accumulated total is 6.17 miles. I can't even believe I've been able to walk that much today. I feel energetic. I feel so full of strength and just, positivity. And I'm going to feel tired later when the evening comes, just busy day. But otherwise, although I was definitely working as I was walking, I don't feel overexhausted. I don't feel like I'm in so much pain I'm going to collapse and I can't go on, which is good because I definitely, unless it's heavy, heavy rains or, like storm warnings in effect, I take the dogs out every single day, twice a day. And I wanted to share this. I hope it's inspiring to you guys. Not because I'm like super, like the most amazing thing on earth and the greatest thing since sliced bread, nothing like that. It's just, you may not know this or maybe can't even picture this because I've been very physically active recently. I've been trying to get more mobile, build up my walking endurance and time and all that. But for over 8 years, I could not go anywhere if I was not in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk 10 meters without unbelievable agony. And since being carnivore now for 3.5 years, so which was amazing because it reduced my inflammation. So my joint inflammation, my chronic pain, and my chronic pain and inflammation from my fibromyalgia dramatically reduced within the first month or two, as well as my brain fog. And on top of that, I lost weight. So I wasn't having the added pressure of excess weight on my joints. That eventually led to me getting healthier and healthier. Within the first 5 or 6 months of 20 that I started carnivore, I lost 100 pounds, which I've kept off. But since that time, especially, I would say maybe for the past 7 months, I've been just trying to do a little bit more walking, move a little bit more, build up my energy reserves, cut back on my caffeine, and all of that I've been doing. And it's been amazing. And I continue to feel better. And I look forward to seeing how much more God's just going to keep using my life and healing me. But I wanted to put this out there. The point of it was to try to provide hope. Because if you are in severe chronic pain, if you can barely manage to get out of bed or off the sofa, and you're thinking, oh, that's great for you, Megan, but I can barely move. So Why are you talking to me about walking like this? I was there. And for 8 years, I was there. And I say this only because I don't know when you guys are going to find the beginning of healing. Maybe you'll start changing your diet first. If you haven't, maybe it'll be slow, gentle movements like you would perhaps do with hydrotherapy, where you do gentle stretches in a pool. Perhaps it'll be very, very light, simple yoga stretches, or just simple things of standing up for a couple of minutes. Maybe it'll be a combination. Maybe it will be that with just continuous prayer, just trying to stay as de-stressed as possible. Maybe that will be what initially gets you to a point of improved, not just health from a dietary standpoint, because that's important, but maybe that will trigger improvements in mental health if you struggle like I did. And like I still can. Anxiety doesn't just go away and not come back ever, but I can manage it. And I'm finding it much easier to do that because I'm not chronically inflamed in my mind. Literally, my brain is not inflamed and chronically inflamed, sending out all these false pain signals, which is basically what fibromyalgia is. The pain is real, but it's not that the pain isn't there, and I know the pain is there. However, the pain signals are being sent based on incorrect or false information, most of which is caused by inflammation in the brain and, of course, in the body. So that's just a quick aside. For those of you who didn't know this, those of us who live with fibromyalgia, we already know this. So whether you decide to, hey, maybe I'll eat a little bit more animal meat, animal proteins. Maybe I'll cut back on sugar. Maybe I'll reduce gluten. Maybe I'll cut down on the carbs that I eat, the processed ones in particular. Maybe that will help. Maybe that's where you start. Maybe you're like, you know what, Megan, this carnivore thing worked for you. I'm in. I'm going to give it a try. Fantastic. And again, that's what works for me, because I didn't have just fibromyalgia. I had an underactive thyroid. I also had super high triglycerides, like almost triple the levels that are considered a healthy range, because of all the fruit and all the sugar I was getting in my diet. Not that I knew any of this at the time. So my triglycerides were extremely high, which along with very high LDL and very low HDL was not a good combination. So I had cholesterol issues. There was a history of heart disease on my dad's side of the family, so that was a factor, etc., 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 plus the chronic pain, plus anxiety and depression, and irritable bowel syndrome. So for me, I had to do an elimination diet, and what I brought it back to is carnivore way of eating, which is animal-based sources of fatty protein. And that works for me. There are people out there who can have animal sources, but also throw in a handful of fruit like blueberries or perhaps raspberries or strawberries even on occasion. There are some people who can have a little bit more than that. There are some people who do well with things like broccoli, garlic, onions. I can't do that stuff because it throws off my IBS. And I'm actually happy to say that for the most part, I basically have about 1 to 1.5 cups of regular coffee a day. The rest is decaf. Not because someone said I should, not because it's not carnivore, and that's a whole other conversation, but because I knew that caffeine was not helping my IBS. It was also my rosacea, I know it's quite pink because I was just outside, but I find that it flares up with caffeinated beverages. Not as much when it's decaf. So anyways, so there we go. And I don't want to rely on it because it's only a short-term thing. And then guess what? Then I would just feel exhausted afterwards, and you'd have to drink more and more to get more and more stimulation, and it would last for less and less time, and it was just horrible for the gut. So hence why I'm cutting back. I am looking to potentially get rid of it fully over time. little by little. Nothing sudden because I don't want to shock my system too much, right? But I'm sharing all of these things because this is what's worked for me. I'm like the plus one, as you know, is said in scientific communities. I'm that plus one. That's what worked for me. You may have something that works and provides you with excellent health and you feel fantastic. And if so, don't feel like you've got to change it just because I'm doing something different, right? But if you're not sure where to go or how to start or what things you might want to try that may potentially help improve your fibromyalgia as it flares up or the chronic pain, these are some ideas. But God has been healing me amazingly, like amazingly. I never walked this much even before I had my back injury 10 years ago, even before the fibromyalgia got really bad. I wasn't walking like this back then at all. And yet now I can, and I feel like I just don't want to stop, which is a great feeling. Now, that's me done with my walking for the day, because the one thing I have to remember, as a friend of mine pointed out, fibromyalgia is the overachiever's condition or disease. We feel great, so we try to do everything all at once, and then we feel absolutely wrecked the next day or later on that day. And so I'm going to learn from the lessons I had to learn the hard way, which is I feel energized, I feel great, loads of dopamine and serotonin going through the brain right now. And you know what? That's where I'm going to leave it. Enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I've been trying to keep really busy because my husband is actually traveling through the US and Canada over the next few months for work. So I love him and we chat almost every day, but it's not quite the same. So I do miss him, but when I'm walking, when I'm enjoying nature and everything around me and just realizing all that I have to be thankful for and all my blessings, helps me to not miss him quite as much. Still miss him, but not as badly, if that makes sense. But anyways, guys, that's just me, again, to give hope, because I was that person. I was in so much agony. I could barely get out of bed, but I could also barely sleep at night, and I could never quite get comfortable, and everything I did hurt, and it felt like nothing would help, and I was going to be trapped in this zombie state of pain forever. And so if that's where you're at right now, I have absolutely been there, lived it for almost 8 years. So yeah, that's where I've been at. I've been in those situations. And up until a couple of months ago, I still needed my power chair to go any sort of great distance. I thought there's no way I could get groceries home, even if I had a little shopping trolley thing. It had to be with a power chair. Now, I haven't used my power chair or my regular chair. I haven't used either in months. Thank goodness. And I hope I don't have to again. But again, it's progress, little by little, every day. And I guess I'm hoping this might be inspiring to you guys, that don't give up, keep trying, keep hanging on. It may last for a while, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to last forever. And I was so there, and yet here I am, so much better. Not because I'm super amazingly fantastic, although my husband does tell me that regularly, which is really sweet, but because God is incredible. God's the healer. God is the healer. Meat is the medicine. And everything else is just an amazing, incredible, beautiful bonus. So that was it from me today, guys. I really hope you guys are doing well. If you're not, I hope you're encouraged and inspired to see how God is maybe trying to work in your life, wanting to help you somehow. I don't know your individual stories. I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly, but I do know God wants to help. And whether it's changing the diet, maybe if there's a lot of processed food in there, maybe just trying to do very small little bits of movement, like standing up for a minute or two, practicing good posture. It's amazing what can change when we do that. Who knows? I'm on a break at the moment in between my modules for school. So I'm hoping to have at least one more video to you guys within the next week or so with some more updates. Any new personal bests I'll probably share with you. In the meanwhile, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. And yeah, thank you for everything. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Please continue to share with me how you're doing, how your journeys are going, because that always is encouraging to me to hear fellow sufferers and faithful people finding ways to overcome and move through these challenging times. Thank you guys for everything. Talk to you in the next video. Bye.